Hello students, this is Harish Panchal and welcome to my YouTube channel. And in today's class we are going to discuss about next part of how family, and that is how often. So without wasting time, let's get started. So here, look at here. As we all know that we are doing grammar section, okay? So in grammar section we have done how many and how much. All the parts of how many and all the parts of how much we have already completed. Today we are going to discuss about next part of how family, that is how often. How often, okay. Why do we use how often? We use how often for frequency. We use it for frequency. Means how frequently you do any action or how frequently you perform any action. So when you make sentence on how often, so your helping verb will be according to tense. We have completed tenses, so I would always discuss about tenses, and helping verb will be according to tenses. Okay, so now let's discuss about syntax. Syntax is very easy. First of all, you are going to use how often in the sentence. After that you have to use helping verb, the tense which you are using, and subject. After that verb according to your tense, and question mark. Now how often plus helping verb, after that subject, not, verb and object. Okay, so this is your syntax, and today we are going to discuss about how often, means how frequently you do this work. Here we are going to make a few examples so that you can understand easily. Our first sentence, let's discuss in present time. Okay, let's make few sentences in present time. For example, how often do you eat in a day? How often do you eat in a day? You eat food in one time, twice, thrice, four times, five times, six times. How many times? Okay, how many times you eat food? How many times do you eat food, and how often do you eat food? So both are quite similar. How often? In starting we have used how often. After that we have used our helping verb. Then we have used here subject. Then we have used here verb, and this is our object. If you have to make negative sentence, so how would you make negative sentence? You need to follow this syntax for making negative sentence. Like for example, the same sentence, how often do you not go there? Okay, how often do you not go there? So you do this work once, you do this work twice or thrice or four times, etc. How often you perform that action, that's why we use how often. Now another example, we can take the example of past. This is the example of present tense. Now how often did I tell you that? How often did I tell you that? Or you can say how many times how many times and how often, both are same. How often did I tell you that thing, or how many times did I tell you that? How many times did I tell you that? So they both sentences have the same meaning. You can make how often, after that helping verb, then subject, then verb, and after that you need to use your object. So these are the two syntaxes that you have to follow while making sentences with how often and how many times, both are same. Now see the third part. Third sentence, we can make this sentence in future, like how often will they play? Okay, so here this example belongs to future. How often will they play, and how often is similar as how many times will they play. Okay, so how often and how many times, both the sentences are the same, but when you have to make sentences with how often, you need to follow. First of all, you need to use how often. After that you will use helping verb, and then you have to use your subject, and after that you have to use a verb and then object, and at the end you need to use a question mark. So in today's class we have discussed about how often. How often shows your frequency, means how frequently you do any action, or how many times. We can say that it is how many times. How many times you do any action, how many times you perform something. So if you have to speak about how many times you do exact or any kind of work, so you can use how often over there. And as a helping verb and a main verb, we have to use the tenses, because earlier we have completed tense, and after that we did WH family and how family is going on. So if you use these things with all the tenses, there are 12 tenses. If you use all the 12 tenses and make sentences with the how family and how often, how many and how much, so your tenses will be revised automatically, and you will see that you can learn tenses easily. So when you have to make sentences, you need to follow the syntax. First of all, you have to use how often. After that you have to use helping verb, then your subject, then verb, and then you have to use the object, and at the end you need to use a question mark. And if you have to make a negative sentence, you need to put not between the subject and the verb. First of all, you have to use how often. After that you have to use helping verb, then subject, not, verb, and object. So these are the three examples which I told you. First sentence belongs to simple present tense, second sentence belongs to the simple past tense, and the third sentence belongs to the simple future. Like this you can practice all the 12 tenses. You need to make sentences with all the 12 tenses. So I hope so you understood this topic very well, and if you have any kind of problem, then you can comment me, or there is a mail ID in the description box. You can directly mail to me that. So I hope so you would understand this, and this video would be valuable for you. So keep watching English with Harish Panchal. Thank you so much for watching my channel, and thank you so much for your time. Have a nice day to everybody. Bye bye.